A great collection of stuff. Tom, you got a free
Tom, let's fucking go! Let's fucking go! Hey!
Went 2 years ago in Chicago, last year in Cleveland, and again this year back in Chicago. A couple observations: there are way many more vendors this year than last year, and even 2 years ago. There were vendors, probably I'd spent 4 or 5 hours there. I'm sure I didn't cover every table, but there are tons of vintage cards, which is right up my alley.
I ended up getting him probably 70 times during his career, but those early days is the ones I love, and that's obviously an awesome card. That's it.
That's a wild story.
Yeah, that's
and 100%. Here it is today. But you're looking, you've got it out on display. You're willing to obviously sell it.
Of course.
What struck me unique about this one, I had trouble finding any of these out there that had ever, been signed from this '87 year.
There's maybe one other I've ever seen.
Okay, I was thinking more in the neighborhood in terms of cash. 7,500 is what I was thinking.
How about 8?
8?
Yeah.
I think 8 is fair.
Okay.
I would happily take it.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you.
And you own it. That's from me to you. And that's the lineage. 2 people.
Just a lot of thoughts, a lot to say. I won't be able to get them all. Today was more confirmation that the hobby is split into 3 groups, at least at the National. You have your vintage people, you have your newer, by vintage, you have your vintage dealers. You have dealers that have been setting up there for decades. And so you have that vintage dealer. Then the new people, I don't know if I'd call them dealers. They're more like companies that have set up a sales force as well as a breaking side. Like it's very much doesn't feel like, okay, mom and pop dealer. That's definitely is not what it is. These are bigger companies that have set up a sales side, a breaking side. So that's number 2, are these company type things. And then number 3 would be, number 3 is the opposite side. So you have your sales side or your breaker side, but you also need a business or corporate team. And so I'm looking around a lot of these booths on people on laptops or people that they're not sports card people. They're clearly some sort of business corporate person in the company. So to me, that's what I saw. I saw a vintage subsection of the hobby. I saw a newer type sales force, opposite of the vintage, not mom and pop, more businessy. And then the corporate advertising, the corporate people, clearly not doing it for sports cards. Tom Brady showed up for maybe 5-7 minutes. And then, that's going to be put on to social media. And that's what you view. Oh my God, the Nationals. Less than 1% even knew Tom Brady was there at that time. Literally. I mean, so many people were doing their own thing at the show. They don't know what's happening in that little tiny section of the show. I think they lined up, 7 or 8 kids? Why wasn't there more kids lined up? So there was fucking Tom Brady right there. Holy shit. It's still Tom Brady in the tuck rule, goddammit. So, still, wow. Interesting. Let's fucking go! That's what the is for camera. Is for PR. It's called public relations. And it looks great. It looks great. And it's not... You don't go to the National because of that. Most people had no clue it was... The honest truth. Large majority of the people at the show, no clue that's going on. Being a late night person, also on West Coast time, I liked how day 1, the show went till 8 o'clock at night. I'm sure the dealers don't like that, but the rest of the days it goes only till 6. 6 felt a little early for me, but again, I'm on West Coast time and I'm also kind of a late night person. There's trade night tonight, a lot of other things going on. I'm just such an introvert. I don't like going to those kind of things, not for any other reason. That I prefer something a bit more I mean, just intimate, 5, 6 people, 4 people, I don't know, something. It's just not me. I walked by this restaurant right here, or brewery, that's having a Fanatics party, and just, gives me, no, I have no interest in sitting there with all those people. It's loud. You can't even talk a good conversation. It's just, so I don't know. That's just never been me. And I did want to make sure to go out and meet some people. While here, I've ran into a few people. But yeah, I couldn't get myself to go out and join all that tonight. At the National, it feels like cards do steal the show. I see gimmicks. eBay has shooting hoops. Nobody, nobody's shooting hoops. Arena clubs selling pitches 2 days in a row, by the way, I watched. Second day, nobody listening, nobody there. So cards, it seems like sports, not gimmick, steals the show. I went through the breaker area. The breaker area definitely skewed kids. I mean, it's definitely skewed younger people doing the breaks. Here is a concern I guess I'd have, is that when the 50% or these guys that are the vintage dealers, when they hit an age, whenever that is, that they're not going to keep doing it. Got a lot darker right here in the plane. What happens to the card show? Now, I'm sure the National is different than it was 2 years ago, different than it was 7 years ago, and it'll be different in 3 years from this year, so it'll always be evolving. But currently, one of the reasons the National is still so cool is you just see so much vintage you've never seen, so much different kind of things. Today I saw all these tickets, like tickets on top of tickets on top, old tickets, Super Bowl tickets, World Series tickets, Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 ticket for that. Like, it's just so random. You see old 1910 baseball gloves, and so these guys aren't 25, 30 years old that are bringing that and that have been setting up for decades. They're a lot closer to 60 or older. And so when they stop making it a tradition, heritage, a plane, what happens? Then what happens to the show? Because the show is so cool and so... it still has a level of normalcy with that portion of the hobby being there so big, even though some of those cards are ridiculous, a lot of money. If they weren't there, it would just seem like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the business side with a sales force, breaking or sales, and then the corporate side. And it would be missing the mom and pop dealer. And that's what's happened in every other place of society, is the mom and pop dealer's been kicked to the curb. They won't be, but what happens when they stop attending? What happens when all their inventory gets sucked up by the big business and breakers? That's a little concerning. Overall, would I go to the show again next year? Only if I had friends going. This year I'm glad that the downtime I get to focus on making content right now. But no, it seems like after the show, the thing to do is hang out with the homies. I mean, not just or before the show, hang out or enjoy the city. So no, it doesn't make sense. I'd prefer the $500 I spent or whatever it is to get here and on this and this and the $500. I prefer to spend that $1,000 and just go on a sports card shopping spree with the $1,000, then travel all the way across the country. Did I have fun? Hell yes. Am I glad I came? Of course. Am I saying I wouldn't go again? No, I would go again. But I think the stipulation would be, yeah, you don't want to, if you come alone, come for a day or two. Buy what you want to buy. By the way, that's the other thing. Like, if you're just watching content and these guys make content, they make it seem like the show is a Monday to Sunday. They're setting up, they're early, it's a 5-day event. most people are not coming, I don't think, all 5 days. There's only so much to. I noticed people on Wednesday, some of these vintage guys, vintage seem to be even more credit. They came in on Wednesday, they made some big deals, and they got out of town. I mean, they weren't sticking around. So another friend of mine who's big vintage, he said he's only going to the show Friday, tomorrow while I'm filming this, for 4 hours.
Card, yeah! Woo, all right, I'll take that. Never know what you're gonna get. Sure.
What up, everybody? This is Robert Ory, aka Big Shot Bob, and you're watching Professional Sports Cars. Hey, by the way, go buy my rookie card.